In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to move your WordPress website from one host to another. In this example, we're going to be moving from Hostgator over to Siteground, but what I'm going to show you in this video should work with pretty much any host. Now, we're not going to be changing the domain name or anything like that. It's going to be the same domain name, so we don't need to update any links or anything like that. And we're going to be doing it the good old-fashioned manual way. I'm not going to be using any plugins to do this or anything like that. We're just going to simply take a copy of all of the files and folders and the database, and we'll take a copy onto our computer. Then we're going to upload that to the new hosting, make a few little tweaks here or there, and then we're pretty much done. So let's get started. Hello, it's Alex here from WP Eagle. Hope you're all well. Thanks for watching. If you're new here, why not subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on the subscribe button below and make sure you click that bell and you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Also, be sure to check out wpeagle.com. It's full of all my videos and some other stuff like articles and infographics and merch, which of course is really cool. So yeah, do go check that out. So anyway, we're going to be moving a site in this video. If you're on the stream the other week, you might remember Gareth. He shared his site with us and he was complaining that it was running really slowly. I tried to get it running faster, but we just couldn't. And I've been talking to him over the last week or so on email. He's currently hosted with Hostgator. And for some reason, they just can't get the site performing any better, which is a bit weird because I've got quite a few sites with Hostgator and they're not too bad in terms of performance. But yeah, Gareth's site was just, being really slow. So he decided that he wanted to change his hosting company. He decided to go with Siteground, based on my recommendation. By the way, they came out #1 in my hosting review test. You should go check that out. There'll be a link up in the card and also in the description. So yeah, he signed up with Siteground and he sent me all the details and asked me if I could help him move the site. So I said, yeah, why not? And I'll make a video out of it too. And that's what I'm doing right now. So we're going to be doing it the manual method, which is basically just taking a copy of everything and then uploading it to the new hosting. You can use plugins like Xcloner or Duplicator or Updraft, a few of them off the top of my head. You can try those plugins out. They're supposed to make it a bit easier, but in my experience, I've found they can be a little bit temperamental. They don't work all the time. It really depends on the hosting company you're using. Whereas the manual method, it tends to work every time. And if you can do it this way, you'll be just fine. So I'm going to hold your hand, take you through it step by step. Let's get on with it. So this is the site I'm going to be moving. It's a WooZone site running the Kingdom theme. If you're on my live stream the other week, it may look familiar to you. It was sent to me by Gareth, who is a WP Eagle regular, and he was complaining that the site has been running really slow. Now it's currently hosted with Hostgator, and he's been talking to them via their support, and they've done all they can to try and get it running faster, and they just haven't been able to. So he's made the decision to change hosts, and he's signed up with Siteground, who are my #1 recommended host at the moment. That's based on a load of tests that I did recently. If you want to go check those out, you'll find a link in the description to a full-length article all around hosting and who's the best, who's the quickest, who's the best value, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, do check that out. So I've got a few tabs open. It's going to make it easier for me to get everything that I need. So basically I need to take a copy of all of the files, all of the WordPress files, the plugins, the themes, all that kind of stuff. And I also need to take a copy of the WordPress database, which is where all the content and all that stuff is stored. I'm going to download both of those to my computer, and then I'm going to upload them to the new hosting over at Siteground. Make a slight adjustment to the WP config file and then repoint the DNS, and we should be all done. Now, just for comparison, I've run this site through the Google PageSpeed Insights tool and it's coming up with some weird error. So if we get an improvement on that, then we're doing well. So I'll run it through this test again once all the move has taken place and we're up and running on Siteground. So let's get started. So in this tab, let's call it the first tab. Well, it's probably the second tab really, isn't it? But hey, this is the Hostgator control panel. And you're probably familiar with this if you are with Hostgator. If you're with a different host, you'll need to log into your control panel, which I'm sure will look very similar. In the next tab, I've got the Siteground control panel, which is obviously where we're going to be moving the site to. And then in this tab, I've got GoDaddy open, which is where we can make changes to the DNS, which is what we'll do after we've moved everything across. So let's go back to the Hostgator control panel. What I'm going to do is go into the file manager, which is just here. This shows us all of the files and folders on our web hosting. If you've got multiple websites on your hosting account, you'll see them all down here. They'll all be in their own folders. If you've just got the one, maybe you're on the baby plan or the basic plan with your host, then all of the files and folders that you need will probably be in the public HTML folder. So you're going to need to think about which one applies to you. On this account, we obviously have got multiple websites, so I'm just going to choose the one that matches the domain name I'm moving, which is this one here. Give that a click. And then we can see down in this right-hand panel all of the files and folders. So what I need to do is basically just select all of these. So I can go here and click select all. Then what I'm going to do is compress them into a zip file. So I'm going to click compress up here, select zip, and then click compress files. That'll take a few moments. Okay, so that's all done. Let's click close. Now we have this zip file that's just appeared. And what I'm going to do is download that to my computer. So just highlight it, click download. I've got a folder that I've created on my computer where I can put all the files for this website. So let's just click save. It's going to take a few moments to download. While it's doing that, let's download the database. So I'm going to go back to the Hostgator control panel, scroll down to the databases section, which is here, go into PHP My Admin. And here we are. Now, in this account, again, because we've got multiple websites, there are multiple databases. So I need to work out which database is for this particular site. You may only have one database here. These are all the databases with this little kind of silver round thing next to them. They're the databases. If you've only got one, then obviously that is the database that you need to get. Here we've got 7, so I need to work out, as I say, which one is the relevant one. To do that, I'm going to just pop back into the file manager. I'm going to look for the WP config file, which is here. Then I'm going to click edit, and then edit again. And there we go. The first line, well, it's not quite the first line, but the first line that actually does anything, the one that starts define, gives us the name of the database. So it's WordP7. Perfect. Let's close that. Don't need that right now. So back to PHP My Admin, select number 7. Now, the first thing you need to do is check the size of your database. So this one is 60 meg. Anything over 50 meg can be a problem when you're importing to your new host. There's often a limit on the size of the file you can import. And even if you zip it up, sometimes it can cause problems when you try and run the import feature. So if your size is reading over 50 meg, then it's best to kind of break this down into a few different files. If you look down this column here, this size column, we can see which tables are the biggest. These are all the tables in the database. You can see this one here is 29 meg, which is the WP post meta table. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select that one first. I'm going to put that in its own file. So I've checked the box next to it. Yep. Then I'm going to come down to the bottom, and then on the drop down, I'm going to select export. And quick is fine. Let's press go. And I'm just going to give it a name of WP post. Oh, maybe I should use underscores. Be a good thing. Just so I know what that is. That's fine. Let's go back into database. Now, of course, if your database is less than 50 meg, then you can just grab all of these tables together. So you just check all and then export them all into the one file. So now I'm going to export everything apart from that WP post meta, that big one. So I'm just going to untick that. All the rest are selected. Then go export. Then go. I'll leave that file name as it is. That's fine. Okay, so everything is downloaded to my computer now. Let's go over to Siteground and let's start copying the files over, or uploading them from my computer, and let's import the database. So I'm logged in here. I'm going to go to my accounts. Going to click go to cPanel. So first thing to do is to upload the files. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm looking for that file manager again. There it is. I'm going to go to document root for the website, which is allterraingear.co.uk. And here we go, the directory is empty. There may be some files and folders in here, the kind of default ones that your host has added for you. You can just select them and delete them. So you've got a nice empty directory then to upload the files. So let's click upload. Let's choose the file. So I want this one, which is the zip file we created, if you remember, within the file manager. It's 115 meg, it's quite big, but I don't think there's any restriction on this. Oh, there is 20 gig, I think we'll be fine then. So we can see that it's uploading down in this bottom right corner. It's going to take a few moments, about 35 seconds according to this, so I'll just do a quick edit. Okay, so that's all done. Let's go back. There's our zip file. What we need to do is extract it, so I've just highlighted it. I'm going to click extract, and then extract files. It says it's all done, perfect. So all our files are there. We can now delete this zip file. We don't need that anymore. Let's just highlight that, click delete. And then we're good. So now we need to do the database. I'm going to leave this file manager open for a second. I'm going to pop back to the Siteground control panel and scroll down, and I'm going to go into my SQL databases. What I need to do is create a new database. You can call it whatever you like. I'm going to call it Bob. Why not? And you're going to want to make a note of these things. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to fire up a note. I'm just going to type in database name, just so I can remember this stuff. Let's go back. Then I'm going to scroll down. We need to create a user. So that's this box here. Just put in whatever you like. Let's call it Peter. Why not? Need to generate a password. That's perfect. I'm just going to copy that so I know what it is. And press use password. Let me just add that to my notes. The username is alter1peter. Let's click create user. Then the final thing is we just need to add that user to the database. So scroll down to the bottom, make sure that you've got the right user and database selected. Press add, tick all privileges, and then make changes. And that's done. So our database is now ready. So I'm going to go back to the cPanel home. Then I'm going to scroll down and go to the PHP My Admin interface. So here's the database we just created, Bob. It's empty. I'm going to press import. I'm going to choose a file. Let's do the big one first. Well, in fact, the other one's actually bigger, but the single table on its own, the WP post meta. Let's press open and then go. It's going to take a few moments. Now, sometimes you do get a timeout error on this, or a gateway error. Although generally it works even if you get that error, so let's just see what happens. Hey, we didn't get an error, it worked fine. So that's our first table. Let's run import again and import the rest, which is this one. And let's go. So that's worked as well. Amazing. Weirdly, when I was testing this out earlier, I was getting some error messages. I said gateway errors and that kind of thing, but it's all working now. So what do you know? If you do get an error when you're uploading, you want to just double check, because as I say, sometimes it does work even if you do get an error. The best thing to do is just come back to your database and just check that the size matches. So we've got 60.6 meg now on Siteground, and if I go back to Hostgator, was it this one? Yeah, this one. And scroll down, we've got 60.6 meg here. So those match, so you can be pretty confident that the whole database has come across. So that's good. We've got the files, we've got the database on our new host at Siteground. Final thing is we just need to adjust the WordPress config file so that it matches up with the new database details. The easiest way to do that is go back into the file manager. This is on the new host, so this is on Siteground. Find your WP config file and then press on the code editor, then edit. And then it's these 3 lines here, this one, this one, this one, and this one that we want to change. So let me get my note. First one is the database name, which is this. I'm just going to copy, paste. Next is the database username, which is this. Finally is the password. Just like that. Then I'm going to come up to the top, press save. And that's all done. So I can close this now. Don't need this anymore. So the final thing we need to do is just update the DNS settings, which you'll do as your domain registrar generally. So the domain registrar we're going to be using today is GoDaddy. I've got it open here. And this is the domain I'm looking to change. So I'm just going to click on DNS. It should be very similar with whoever your domains are registered with. You're basically just looking for your DNS settings. So currently the name servers are over at Hostgator, so I'm just going to update them to the Siteground ones. Now, if you're running email or things like that through the domain, and maybe that email is hosted with, I don't know, Office 365 or something like that, then you're going to need to be very careful with this, and you might just want to change the A record on your name servers. If you're not sure, then it's best probably to get in touch with whoever's hosting your email and just double check with them. If you update the name servers, that basically moves everything over to your new host. Could be email, could be anything. Basically moves everything over. And it's all then going to be running through the new host, which is generally probably what you're going to want to do. So let's press change. And then we just need to paste in the new name servers. And you can find them in your hosting control panel. So here's the Siteground control panel. I'm just going to copy this one back here. And paste it in. Oop, and then back to here. Get the second one. Paste it in. Press save. That's all done. Now that can take a few moments to update around the world. Sometimes it can take a couple of hours. So you just need to be patient. Once that's done, we can then log in to the site on our new hosting. And the final thing we'll need to do is just request a new SSL certificate on our new host. So what I'm going to do is wait a moment. And in fact, the best way to find out if your DNS is all propagated and it's all updated, because it can be difficult to work out when you visit your website, is it on the old hosting? Is it on the new hosting? Because obviously it's going to look exactly the same. What I like to do is if I just go into the Siteground file manager again, what I'm going to do is create a little file. I'm just going to go new file. A new HTML file. I'm going to call it siteground.html. Create new file. Then I'm just going to edit it. I think we can use any of these. Let's go for HTML editor and edit. I'm just going to put that there. This is Siteground. Perfect. And then save. We can close this. So now when I'm on the website, if I try to access that new file, siteground.html, If it loads, then we're on Siteground. If it doesn't, we're still on Hostgator. So we've got a 404 there. So that means that the DNS has not propagated yet. So I'm just going to wait a little while. And then when I see that HTML file load up, I know we're on Siteground. And I'll finish off by requesting the SSL. So I've just refreshed and my page is now showing, which means the DNS is updated and we're now over on Siteground. Final thing to do is get the SSL certificate installed. When the site was on Hostgator, it had one of the free SSL certificates running, so we need to do the same on Siteground. So into Siteground user area, top of my head, I think we need to go into cPanel. Let's do that. Then if we just scroll down, I'm looking for SSL. There we go, it's under security. We click Let's Encrypt, and that's the domain, that's fine. Install, it's been added to the queue. So that's going to take a few moments. So let's just wait for that. So there we go, that only took a few moments. Let's go back to the site. Let's get rid of this Siteground HTML and let's have a look. There we go, that seemed to load a bit quicker. We've got the HTTPS working, it's green, perfect. So I guess the final thing is just to run this through the PageSpeed Insights, see what happens. So yeah, before it was just given an error. Let's just click Analyze and so here we go, fingers crossed. Now, I'm expecting a low mobile score because nowadays PageSpeed Insights gives you a low mobile score unless you really optimize your site well. 14 is not actually too bad. In order to get this speed up, you need to, or this score up even, you need to kind of optimize your images, use JPEG 2000s, all sorts of things that most sites don't have. So I'm not too worried about the low mobile score. At least we've got a score. That's definitely an improvement. You remember before we were just getting the error message, and now on the desktop we've got a score of 71, which is very respectable, I think. So we're all done. So that brings us to the end of this video. Hopefully you got your site moved over all okay. If you got stuck or if you've got any questions, then do leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer as many as I possibly can. Here's a couple of videos that you might enjoy. They've been chosen specially for you. You can subscribe by clicking on the eagle and you can check out my vlog channel by clicking on my face up there. Until next time, bye for now.